Junpei, Nanami, Nobara. Mahito didn't just kill him, he made sure Yuji was watching every single time. Mahito wasn't summoned. Mahito was born from the accumulated fear and hatred that human beings have for each other. Every time a person looked at a stranger with contempt, every time someone was made to feel like they didn't matter, every time human beings treated each other as less than human, that energy pooled somewhere, and eventually it took shape. That shape is Mahito, which means he isn't just Yuji's enemy. He is a mirror, a walking, breathing reflection of humanity's darkest instincts, dressed up in a patchwork body with a smile that never quite reaches his eyes. And the cruelest part, he finds all of it genuinely fun. Yuji Itadori is not a complicated person. He doesn't have a hidden agenda. He doesn't have a tragic backstory that turned him cold. His grandfather died and told him two things: be surrounded by people and die surrounded by people. That's it. That's the whole operating system. Yuji fights curses because people matter to him, not as an abstract concept, not as a duty, actual, specific, breathing people. He will throw himself into danger for a stranger without a second thought because in his mind, that's just what you do. He is almost unreasonably good, the kind of good that hasn't been tested yet, the kind of good that exists because the world hasn't shown him what it's truly capable of. Mahito was about to fix that. Enter Junpei Yoshino. Junpei is a boy who found out he has the ability to be a jujutsu sorcerer. He's a teenager who has been bullied, isolated, and pushed to the edges of everything. A kid who has every reason to be angry at the world and not nearly enough reason to trust it. Yuji meets him, befriends him, sees something in him worth knowing, and for a moment, Junpei starts to believe that maybe people aren't so bad. Maybe there's a version of his life that doesn't end in bitterness. Maybe this one person who actually showed up for him is proof that the world isn't entirely rotten. That hope is exactly what makes him useful to Mahito. Mahito had been working on Junpei long before Yuji ever showed up, whispering in the dark, feeding his wounds, nurturing his anger just enough to aim it. Mahito didn't want Junpei as an ally. He wanted him as an instrument, a tool with just enough humanity left in it to make what came next hurt. And when the moment was right, when Yuji was standing right there, close enough to watch, Mahito used his idol transfiguration and turned Junpei into something unrecognizable. Yuji is screaming at him to stop, begging, promising, reaching for any word that might work. Mahito just smiles. Junpei falls flat on his face and dies right in front of Yuji's, mutilated, unrecognizable, gone, and Mahito laughs. Like the video, it gets darker from here. Not because Junpei mattered to him, but because Yuji did. And this was never about Junpei. This was always about breaking Yuji. That moment does something to Yuji that no curse ever had before. He couldn't fight his way out of it. He couldn't arrive faster, or hit harder, or find a better strategy. He did everything right. He showed up, he cared, he tried, and it didn't matter. Mahito took someone Yuji knew and destroyed him. That is a different kind of pain. Physical wounds heal in this world. Curses can be exorcised. But the lesson Mahito just taught Yuji, that caring about people makes them a target, that his presence in someone's life might be a death sentence, that doesn't wash off. Yuji carries that, and Mahito knows it. Then comes Shibuya. If the death of Junpei was a crack, Shibuya is where Mahito takes a hammer to everything that crack left exposed. Kento Nanami is not a warm man in the traditional sense. He is precise, professional, and economical with his words. But to Yuji, he represented something important, a model of what it looked like to be strong and still retain your humanity. A man who had seen everything this world could throw at a sorcerer and still chose to show up every day. Yuji finds him in Shibuya already broken, already at the end of everything he had left to give. Nanami looks at Yuji, and in his final moment, he gives him the only thing he has left, acknowledgement. You've got it from here. And then Mahito kills him. No build-up, no dramatic speech, just sudden, casual, almost bored violence. Because that's the point. Mahito wants Yuji to understand that no one is safe, that proximity to Yuji Itadori is a curse in itself, that the people who matter most to him will be taken, not in battle, not with honor, just taken, the way you swat something out of the air without breaking your stride. And then Nobara. Nobara Kugisaki is not someone who needs protecting. She will be the first to tell you that. She is sharp and self-possessed and fights with everything she has every single time. But Mahito's ability doesn't care about any of that. Idol transfiguration reaches the soul. And when it reaches Nobara, when that moment happens and Yuji is standing there watching her face, something in him goes somewhere very dark and very quiet. Because this wasn't a fight he lost. This was a person he knew being erased, right in front of him. Again, the same helplessness, the same hands that can't do enough. the same Mahito watching him come apart with that same unbothered smile. Mahito didn't just kill Nobara, he used her death to show Yuji something specific, that there is no version of this where Yuji wins by caring. That love, in his world, is just a list of future casualties. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. Thank you. This is where Yuji breaks, not loudly, not with a scream, just the light goes somewhere. The boy who showed up to every fight with something to prove, something to protect, someone to get back to, that boy starts to disappear. Because what is there left to protect? What is the point of caring when caring is the weapon being used against you? Mahito didn't need to kill Yuji's body. He was doing something more permanent. He was killing Yuji's reason. And for a moment, staring into the rubble of Shibuya, surrounded by the people he couldn't save, Yuji Itadori almost let him finish the job. Then Aoi Todo shows up. And Todo, loud, ridiculous, absolutely unhinged Todo, does the one thing Yuji needed more than any technique or strategy. He refuses to let Yuji disappear. He doesn't offer comfort. He doesn't give a speech about healing. He slaps Yuji back into his body with the kind of blunt force, friendship that only Todo can deliver, reminding him that grief is not the same as defeat, that the people he lost would not want him to become nothing in their name, that Yuji Itadori is still here, still breathing, and that means Mahito hasn't won yet. Together they fight back, and for the first time since Shibuya began, Mahito is the one on the back foot, because Yuji isn't fighting to protect anymore. He's fighting for something older and colder and far more dangerous. Mahito took a boy who believed, genuinely, completely believed, that every person had value, that showing up mattered, that goodness was enough, and he educated him. Mahito showed Yuji that the world does not reward innocence, that caring without power is just grief waiting to happen, that there are things in this world that will look you in the eye while they destroy everything you love and feel nothing. That education cannot be undone. Yuji will never be the boy who walked into Jujutsu Tech with his grandfather's voice in his head, and nothing but good intentions. That version of him is gone. Mahito didn't just take Junpei and Nanami and Nobara. He took the Yuji that existed before he knew what real loss felt like. That is what made Mahito the perfect villain for this story. Not his power, his precision. He knew exactly where to cut. But here's what Mahito didn't account for. He broke Yuji open, expecting to find despair at the bottom. What he found instead was something he had no framework for. Because Yuji Itadori didn't become cold. He didn't become calculating. He didn't become the kind of broken that stops moving. He became a hunter. The innocence is gone, but the will isn't. The softness is gone, but the purpose isn't. What's left is something stripped of everything unnecessary. No illusions, no hesitation, no part of him that still believes Mahito deserves anything except to be erased from this world completely. Yuji became the thing that curses fear. Not because he stopped caring, but because now that caring has teeth. Mahito wanted to make him feel like nothing. Instead, he made him dangerous. And the last thing Mahito sees before the end is that Yuji Itadori, the boy born from human goodness, aimed at him by human suffering, never stopped coming. And drop in the comments, who did Mahito take that hurt Yuji the most? Junpei, Nanami, or Nobara? Like and subscribe if this one hit different.